I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese.
I'm simply going to make this public. There are more seasons that Angel Reese has left than she has completed. In just 2 years, 3 seasons have passed. 1 in Unrivaled, 2 in the WNBA. She even put it in her own words. My bills are not paid by the WNBA. Rumor has it that she is only interested in her fans. Hold on tight. We're going all in. It's difficult to see the trend when you take a close look at Angel Reese's career during the past 2 years. There hasn't been a single poor season or regrettable injury. It is a recurring plot. She missed her first WNBA season due to a wrist injury. She didn't only miss games in Unrivaled. She didn't attend the championship at all. Additionally, she is currently in her second WNBA season due to an enigmatic back issue. That's kept her out since the All-Star break. In just 2 years, that equates to 3 seasons ending early.
Look, bro, you gotta remember, she quit in Unrivaled. She just stopped playing in Unrivaled. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games. Now, this year, she's saying this season, it's her back. It looked like she's not finishing playing in none of the games.
Consider how uncommon it is for a player who is meant to be a mainstay of the franchise. Even if the standings are dismal, the majority of celebrities strive to finish the year. However, it appears that Rhee is not prioritizing finishing the season. Consistency is what fans desire. Coaches must be dependable. Nevertheless, the Chicago Sky is currently facing one of their worst records, and one of its best players is out. And not as a result of an obvious, recorded harm. The more this trend persists, the more it eclipses her other on-court accomplishments. It wasn't a reviewer who said that. It originated with Angel Reese. The WNBA don't settle my bills. You can't help but relate a player's approach to the grind of a full season when they say that aloud. The majority of professionals are aware that while the league check may not be very large, what motivates them is the game, the competition, and the legacy. It feels different, Rhee. That kind of thinking begs for part-time dedication. It's comparable to stating, I'll show up when it's convenient and when it helps my brand, but if the season gets rough or the standings tank, I'm out. 1 foot in and 1 foot out is not a good way to lead a team. Additionally, that mindset harms more than just the athlete in a league where every game counts for recognition and development. Both the team and the league's momentum suffer as a result. She wasn't signed by the Chicago Sky as a side gig. She was signed as a key player who supporters could support. Her own statements, however, convey the idea that basketball is not the primary endeavor, but rather one of several. This is when things become complicated. Serious and genuine back injuries are possible. However, when an injury is reported on a daily basis for weeks without any details, a timeline, or a precise time frame, it causes eyebrows to rise. All of us have witnessed real injuries occur. Supporters are able to identify the precise game and even the play that took place. That is not the case with Rhee. Only a hazy day-to-day that is compressed into half the season. No footage, no here's when it flared up, and no thorough team report. Additionally, this seems less like poor luck and more like a practical exit strategy for a player who has previously established a track record of ending seasons early. Without her, Chicago's record was harsh. However, the team's performance under her wasn't particularly impressive either. What is the true cause, then? Is the goal really to shield her reputation from the hurt of further losses? Or is it to safeguard her health? Fans are stuck asking that question.
Reese unintentionally exposed her own lies. An excellent performance from Angel Reese. It is rare. It's like seeing a hole-in-one on a par.
At this point, it is impossible to overlook the contrast. Caitlin Clark collapses with an obvious wound. It is witnessed by fans. A tentative schedule for her comeback is provided by the team. Additionally, she remains involved with her team during her recuperation. That's how leadership appears. Similar. Look at Reese now. She isn't even traveling with the squad for important games. and there isn't any clear indication of an injury. One could argue that Clark is more well-liked. One may argue that the league handles her differently. However, like any sport, accessibility and openness are important.
Talon said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all.
Despite her injury, Clark continues to support her colleagues. It seems more like a disappearing act when Reese is not there. Perception is nearly as important in sports as performance. Furthermore, it is now believed that Rhee has no interest in persevering through hardship. And in the perspective of both executives and spectators, the distance between you two only widens when your supposed rival shows there, even if she is injured. This one is nearly humorous. Your greatest adversary is within the structure. The arena is humming. You're not even present, but the plot is ideal for a competitive spark. Rhee skipped the flight to Indianapolis when the fever hit the sky. Not hurt during warm-ups or on the bench, simply not present. Not playing that game conveys the exact opposite message for a player who has centered so much of her public image around her rivalry with Caitlin Clark. It informs followers that the rivalry only occurs when it suits her brand, when it's convenient, or when the result can be interpreted in a favorable way. It's similar to coming up to vent before the season then disappearing when it comes time to play. Fans undoubtedly notice that, as do coaches and fellow team members. Rivalries are created in sports, particularly those with intensity and history, not in remarks from the media. It says a lot to miss that moment. We'll just refer to it as brand protection mode. It's tempting to stay home, stay away from the box scores, and make sure your name isn't associated with a streak of L's when the team is losing. Winning, fantastic, you're in the spotlight. Losing, having a back ailment all of a sudden, and rehab sessions as well as an enigmatic chronology. Indeed, players definitely need to consider their image in the modern sports environment. However, you cease being a competitor and become a celebrity athlete when your personal brand begins to dictate your availability more than your passion for competing. In a professional locker room, that isn't appropriate, but it might be for social media influencers. Her stats are not the only thing missing from the sky. They are missing the fight, the edge, and the excitement that comes from having your top players with you in the trenches. Additionally, rather than empty bench seats, the spectators came to witness the team's stars. It might be acceptable to quit once. After quitting twice, conversation begins. It's a reputation to quit 3 seasons in 2 years. And it's difficult to get rid of that label in athletics once it's attached. Although teammates may not express it aloud, they are aware of who persevered through difficult times and who put in a lot of effort. General managers and coaches undoubtedly recall. Whenever Reese's name is mentioned in upcoming contracts or trade discussions, they will have this pattern in the back of their brains during talks. Can we trust her? When the chips are down, will she remain there or will she walk away? And it won't be long before those inquiries have an impact on the choices that mold her professional path. Players who have a reputation for showing up, even when they're injured, are given more leeway. Rarely do players who check out early. The off-court conversation really starts to heat up at this point. According to the most recent rumor, Angel Reese intends to start an OnlyFans. Furthermore, this isn't merely idle rumors, let's face it. It suits the hand, glove with the persona she has been developing. The player who flatly told us that the WNBA doesn't pay my bills is the same one. Therefore, if she's seeking a whole different kind of subscriber base, why should anyone be surprised? It is the pinnacle of brand pivots. From potential paywalls off the court to missed games on it. Indeed, layering revenue streams makes sense from a commercial perspective. However, your so-called rivalry games continue without you when your team is having trouble, and the optics are harsh. Chicago Sky supporters are paying for their star to suit up and compete for victories, not behind-the-scenes selfies. Instead, it seems like Hoops is putting more emphasis on anything that keeps her in the news without ever setting foot on the court. The team is already notorious for treating basketball like a side gig.